So, Deuteronomy verse 18, verses 10 to 12 clearly states that thou shalt not practice divination or sorcery. So even though I have been a victim of this terrible crime and it's ongoing because of the evidential burden, which is really hard to meet at the moment, and the police seem to work for the royal family, therefore I can't get any retribution against them or their agents. God explained the reason why I'm doing these exposures, which I really did not want to do, and I really felt for a long time it was the wrong decision to make. But then when I read the scripture, God convicted me that I had to report it, because even though I wasn't actively involved in any divination or sorcery, even if I myself was a victim and I was allowing it to be portrayed onto me, then, which I wasn't because I couldn't prove what was happening to me, then I was actively participating in the divination and sorcery by not saying anything. So it was a very difficult decision to expose. And I didn't want to make it, but I'll be talking about, it seems to be a calling, which is why I'm going to be talking about other verses in the scriptures against divination. And I believe that in our country it's an epidemic, actually, and it needs to be addressed, because churches are not dealing with it, vicars are not dealing with it. There's an epidemic of witchcraft and sorcery in our nation, and I have been misfortunate enough to be a victim of it for a long time, and I was unable to do anything about it because the mechanisms in place were not there for me to be able to complain about it. Therefore, I have been suffering, and I'm still suffering as a result of that, physically, not mentally, because what's been happening to me is very painful and abusive, and as a result of that, I have been backed in a corner and forced to endure it. The police have been absolutely wicked and cruel over a long period of time, and if I do get more causal links against what I'm saying, I have already threatened them with legal action, and I will be doing it. They, of course, in turn, have been trying to find ways to abuse my legal capacity to act. But being a law graduate, that has become more difficult for them than they ever imagined, because I think on 3 separate occasions they falsely accused me of something. I don't have a criminal record. And it was so ridiculous that my lawyers were just dumbfounded. But I think the reason they did that was because they were trying to just get me sectioned so that I couldn't actually go to court. But then they decided that I was very fit to go to court, and of course I wiped them out in the courtroom. And the lawyer said that if it ever happened again, they probably would sue them for it, because they're asking for it and they're going to get it. So we were kind of waiting for the next scenario to come forth, but being I never actually commit any crimes, it's becoming increasingly difficult for them. So obviously avoid arguments and all kinds of things like that. Even had a mistaken identity case, where they couldn't find anything, so they got a woman who looked like me to commit a crime, but then realised I wasn't in the location when they tried to stitch me up with it. So that didn't work either. I mean, ridiculous cases like that, which, knowing that I'm going to go into Christian ministry. So, and when I'm not so sick because I don't have ruptured veins, I actually make tracks, Christian tracks, for different churches when I'm not too sick to do anything. Of course, I don't get paid for it because I'm too sick to work at the moment, but that's what I do. I design tracks. And I would have gone into ministry about 15 years ago. Had it not been for this, I would have gone to Bible college and all that. But like, it's very difficult to function on a day-to-day basis when you're actually surviving such profane injuries in secret, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Every single authority is geared to protect them in different ways. And so, you know, I didn't really want to do this broadcast to poke the finger at the royal family, because there's a lot of scriptures to disadvise against doing things like that. But when I read the ones about the sorcerer, it became very clear to me that God was urging me to say something. And, you know, obviously I was itching for God to just act for me. But I think that he's not acting for me because I'm not obeying him. So, like, I had to do this very difficult task of broadcasting this, which I really didn't want to have to do. I don't like putting attention on myself, and I don't like idolatry of any description, and to also cut their noses off to spite their faces. I even managed to quit smoking last year on October the 21st, which, let me tell you, is very difficult when you're enduring this kind of physical pain in the back of your head and neck and the top of your head and the side of your head. So, and anemia as well, and also sleep deprivation, because some weeks when I can't get guests to come here, that I trust, I will just stay awake after the aircrafts have landed, because when you're helpless in a bad situation, God gives you strength which is beyond human understanding to endure a sleepless night, you know. And I discovered it's better than actually enduring the physical pain that they put you through. So it's the lesser of two evils. And because I obviously went through university, I was more than experienced in doing all-nighters like most people. So because I'd done those to achieve my law degree,